used to be pretty much obese at that point. I always kept eating constant bad food like Cookout, Pizza Hut, Domino's, junk food. And honestly, I realized that my actions had consequences. And then eventually, I looked like that. With the right information and the stuff that I've been researching and the things that I've wanted to know by changing my identity and being able to actually eat healthier, it's very simple. What we're gonna have to discuss is that today, in this video, we are going to be discussing how to actually start eating healthier and stop eating the junk food and stop being so psyoped by constantly buying junk food all the time. So if you don't know me, I'm Roy, and I'm going to help Hispanics to lose weight effectively. So if you want to learn how to do that more, click the subscribe button right now. So let's continue. We're going to have to start going into eliminating your diet currently. When I was 205, I used to eat really bad, like I said previously. I always had these constant cravings of pizza because I'm always being psyoped by the pricing. It's the $6.99, the $9.99, the $7.99, the $6 Biggie Bag. These things are there for you to just target fat asses like you to be able to continue to buy their food. So what I mean by saying this is that when I was researching all this information about eating healthier food, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to eat your fucking protein and eat your vegetables. We already know the basic information about that. It's more likely how you're going to start resetting it. Basic like this. Continue today, you're going to have a normal day like this. Or if you want to, you can start literally today to actually get the effects of what you need to be doing. So if you ate already, wait a couple of hours. If you haven't ate already, that's perfect. Or you could, if you've already ate all the way bad, you could just wait until tomorrow. You're gonna have to think that you don't eat anything, like eliminating your diet. Like your food palette is just gone, right? So what I personally like to discuss was this personal thing was if you could pick 20 ingredients, single food ingredients that being said, for the rest of your life, what would it be? And it's very simple. Most proteins are going to be like ground beef, chicken, lamb, steaks. Maybe add some potatoes, broccoli, spinach, a bunch of fruit, maybe eggs, So you realize once you start into that, that's where you're going to start branching out. So we're not going to completely change your diet to the point where you have to completely buy a whole new stock. We're going to be having like we have nothing, but choosing what type of meals do you actually want to eat. So this will stop eliminating eating foods like burgers, pizza, milkshakes, stuff like that is going to be where you're going to be eliminating all of those things because those are all multi-purpose, bunched up processed food rather than eating like a potato or rice or a steak and some eggs. Categorizing this type of stuff will actually help you be more consistent in your daily picking of food. We're gonna be trying to eliminate your current diet. That being said, just imagine yourself that you haven't ate anything else in the rest of your life and you're actually gonna choose what you're gonna be eating, right? Well, and it also varies by different because depending on how you eat, your gut microbiome will determine how you're going to be affected by these foods. We'll get into that later in another video, but just first keep it simple, eliminate your whole diet, and only pick 20 single ingredient foods that you would eat for the rest of your life. That's what really helped me. If that seems like too hard for you to actually explain because you don't know what healthy food is, this is perfectly fine. Because these are for the people that actually want to be on the current diets. What I mean by diet, it's not where you have to be restricting your certain foods. It's about changing what you consume, if that makes sense. Like, people say go on a diet, oh, I can't eat junk food, I can't eat pizza, I can't eat that, I can't do that. Ultimately, that's not how a diet works. A diet is essentially a different palette of how you're going to be eating. So, that being said, there are many varieties of diets out there in the world, and you could just pick the one that actually suits you the best and you give it a try. And you give it yourself for a week and see how you are. Make sure you have a scale to weigh down your data, and honestly just see how it is effectively and time effectively and cost effectively. My best one I would like you to start with would be called the carnivore diet. This is where you strictly just eat a bunch of proteins and fats. That is just steaks, eggs, ground beef, chicken, lamb, eggs, nuts, avocado. Only cook it with butter, you know what I mean? Stuff like those. Because trust me, when I first started doing this diet, I actually lost a few amount of pounds. I lost 20 pounds in my first month when I started losing the weight. But then again, It wasn't really fully sustainable for me, so I highly recommend doing it when I highly recommend finding stuff that are very reasonable, that are very good for you, if that makes sense. Now, what I mean by going on this diet, you're going to have to start, learning what real food and fake food is. Right now, if you're in America and any honestly third world country, there are things called processed food. The thing is that us humans were never meant to actually eat that food because it was man-made. Ultimately, the world has already given us the food that we need to eat, and it's usually healthier and also give you a lot more benefits. Realizing this, what quite simple thing is when you're eating junk food, there's a lot of disadvantages when it comes to it, like weight gain, cardiovascular diseases. You're also going to be even more hungrier, hormonal dysfunction. There's a lot of disadvantages when it came to eating junk food. That's what really helped me when I actually stopped eating junk food. Like literally, if you eat the American diet, you are technically telling yourself that you're a dumbass because there's actually studies showing that if you eat the American diet, you're gonna fucking be stupid. You don't want to be the average American overweight guy who has the beer belly and drinks fucking beers every 2 days because he has kids and has a mortgage. We're not dealing with that. So, what I mean by eating real food, this is going to be single base ingredient foods. That is when you look at the item and you're going to the grocery store and looking at what certain food you're looking for, make sure it has 1 to 3 ingredients of items. And there's something, have some more leeway. I understand that it's pretty hard to find it, especially with the community of how the grocery stores are, but only really ultimately try to find 1 to 3 pretty much. As long as you can read it and understand what they're saying, then you should be fine. Best places I recommend would be going to organic places. Now you don't have to pick like the common. It's okay to pick up the common grocery stores like Walmart, Food Lion, Target. That is totally fine. That being said, I recommend going to local grocery businesses. What I mean by local grocery businesses, it's typically when I don't know how to describe it, but when I'm but with my girlfriend, she invited me to these places, and then I never knew they really existed because every food ingredient that I'm looking at, I can actually fucking read. I don't know if you guys have one. Look up just local grocery businesses, locally owned, okay? Because they're gonna be company owned by owners who are actually going to be more lenient about like the vegan and stuff like that. Once you start realizing that fake food is actually just food that are just there to take your money and make you even more hungrier and make you more fat and make you depressed, rather than choosing foods that are actually going to be beneficial for your life, make you actually start glowing, have a glow up and all this, and make you weight loss, you'll understand the differences between that. There's this one good video that helped me a lot, which was called Fat Chance Fructose 2.0. If you look up that video, that's going to actually tell you like the real reason of why Americans are actually obese. And it's actually pretty shocking for what they have because it eliminates a lot of beliefs that you have that where you think it's fat, where you think it's seed oils, where you think it's junk food, where you think it's just a lifestyle. There's a lot of things that go into it, and that really helped me to be able to lose weight and effectively eat healthier time. Start getting into cooking. You are going to be able to choose what type of foods you want and actually learn how to cook the meals that you have. And you also get the benefits with it. Your family will start thinking that you're actually productive and actually useful for the ones. Your girlfriend will love that too if you even have one that you cook a meal for her. She'll feel pretty happy. It doesn't matter about the masculine femininity role. You need to learn how to use skill because low key, I kind of find it embarrassing that most men don't know how to cook. So rather than you being a fat ass and buying takeout, learn how to actually buy some groceries and cook some meals. But yeah, put down that fork and go lift some weights, brother. I'll see you soon.